going to start with page 35, but they're very similar if you have been working on learning those. So the scenario is, and there can be more than one scenario, but the key idea of a fuzzy dice problem is that there is somehow a tension force causing an object to hang from a surface, from the backs of an airplane seat in this case, or maybe from a ceiling or from a branch. And forces of tension are not that complicated. You might say that's I can handle that. And there's always a force of gravity in a free body diagram. Excuse me. And what we're trying to find out is something really interesting. This seems impossible, but this is going to be something you're going to know how to do in a few minutes. This is the back of an airplane seat. I don't know, maybe the plane is facing, this way, right? And the plane is taking off. And if you hang your iPod or your phone off the back of the seat, maybe by your headphone cable, something weird happens. It actually stays in place. That's not that weird. It has inertia. So the plane and the seat back is accelerating forward, but yet the iPod seems to swing backwards. But it's not actually swinging backwards. It's that the plane is moving forward underneath it, and the iPod is staying in place. It's acting inertially. So what do we see? There's nothing pushing it back, but there is a tension force. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty details. Every force that's on an angle needs to be broken into component forces. So if we were to use color, we could have this be FTX, and let's make the upper one, the one that points toward the top of the plane, as FTY. And what we see, and we could have color-coded these maybe a little bit differently, is how many forces do you see in the Y direction? I see an FG and I see an FTY. Those are the two forces in the Y direction. There's, on the other hand, one X force. So we've worked on problems with forces on angles, or most of us have had a chance. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at how to maybe kind of go about breaking this down, considering it's so weird. For example, we don't know the force of gravity, but we do know that the force of gravity formula is m times g, and that means m times negative 9.8 meters per second squared. And what else do we know? Well, if I were to look inside this triangle, this right triangle up here, the FTX, that's in blue, is where in the triangle? Now, you might say, well, it's adjacent, but it's not, because in this picture, the angle of the chord relative to the seat back is known up here, the upper corner. So FTX is now opposite that angle. So we would use sine of 25 degrees multiplied by the force of tension. We don't know it, but we can make an expression for how we would solve for FTX if we know FT. FTY, on the other hand, is next to the 25-degree angle, so that would be cosine, or adjacent. And you multiply it by the hypotenuse. So what we have is essentially we have three formulas that don't have something we can solve because they have multiple unknowns. But they are going to help us as we dig into this problem. What I mean by that is, let's set up a list of our forces in the X and the Y direction. Okay, so we've got how many X forces? Only one. FTX is equal to sine 25 times FT. In the Y direction, there's two of them. There's m times negative 9.8. That's the force of gravity. And we also have cosine 25 times ft, and that's equal to fty. Now, this iPod is not moving up or down. The acceleration is sideways. So we know that the sum of the forces in the Y direction have to add up to 0. There's two of them. There's Fg plus Fty. They add up to 0. And so that tells us that we have m times negative 9.8 plus cosine 25, we're doing substitution here, equals 0. And what we're going to do is we're going to rearrange this. We're going to rewrite this as cosine 25 ft equals m times positive 9.8. When you subtract the m times negative 9.8 to the other side, or 9.8m, it becomes positive 9.8m. Unsolvable. Now, in the x direction, the sum of the forces in the x, well, they don't add up to 0, right? They don't add up to 0. They add up to the mass of the iPod times its acceleration. And the acceleration of the iPod is going to be the same as the acceleration of the plane. They are attached to each other, after all. And we have an expression that we can plug in. We're just doing substitution of our formulas. Sine 25 times ft equals m times a. Okay, so what can we maybe do with this? What you're going to realize very quickly is you have a system of equations where you have too many unknowns, but in just a minute we're going to put these two equations together. Now, a system of equations means you have two or more valid equations, but they're related to each other. They have the same variables, m, t, t. They don't have the a in common, but in a sense this is an a value. And you notice that we're going to probably need to reduce our number of unknowns. So we're going to take this one and call it equation 1, this equation 2, and we're going to divide 1 by 2. So sine of 25 times ft equals m times the a of the plane. Divide it by cosine of 25 times ft equals m times 9.8. Okay, interesting, but certainly a new skill. And we can cancel out our ft's, we can cancel out our masses, and we can simplify sine over cosine. Sine of 25 over cosine of 25, I'm going to undo that step because I think I can jump right to the answer. That's equal to tangent of 25 equals a over 9.8. And that's solvable because you can now just cross multiply. A is equal to tan 25 times 9.8. I'm going to jump to my calculator. Notice I haven't done any calculations yet. I just did relationships. Tan 25 multiplied by 9.8. And A comes out to be 4.57 with rounding meters per second squared. The final unknown, if you go back to the beginning, is what is the takeoff speed? So what we have is we have a v initial of the plane of 0. We have a v final, we don't know, that's our takeoff speed. We have an a of 4.57 meters per second squared and a time of, it's up in the given, 18 seconds. So you have 18 seconds of the plane rolling down the runway. And I think we can put this together. A equals v final minus v initial over t, positive 4.57 meters per second squared equals v final, I don't know, minus 0, all over 18 seconds. Subtracting 0 really just means it's v final over 18, and the v final is going to be the product of 4.57 times 18 seconds, or 82.3 meters per second. So, big picture recap. When you have forces of tensions at angles, you have to break them into their components. And the convenient thing to do is to make a formula for each one in terms of another force. So we don't know gravity, but we know it's mass times negative 9.8. We don't know ftx, but we know that it's opposite the theta, so sine of 25 times the hypotenuse, ft. Cosine 25 times ft because the fty is adjacent to the angle theta 25 degrees. Then we got organized and we kind of pictured how many forces are in the x? Just 1. How many forces are in the y? 1, 2. And we set them equal to 0 because there's no y acceleration. The airplane moves sideways, not upwards. And it left us with an equation that was unsolvable because we had too many unknowns. But we did it with our x side and we found that we had parallel formulas, which led us to think, I need to use systems of equations where I divided one equation by the other, and lo and behold, the a falls out as an answer. And then we just do some kinematics. Use the A to find the final velocity, and that is a typical fuzzy dice problem.